What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Bird's Eye View, the true stories of professional overseas basketball. I'm your host, Erica McCall, aka Bird, because my last name is McCall. If you listened in for the past, 5 episodes before, you've known that by now. But if your first time listening in, that's my nickname. I got it in college. Shout out to Chene Agumake, and hence that's the title of the podcast, Bird's Eye View. So the reasoning for starting this podcast, again, if you guys listened in, also shout out, I just want to do a quick shout out to all my fans that have been listening in since the very beginning, since episode 1. We're on episode 6 right now, and the love that you guys have shown has been absolutely crazy. I'm getting DMs from you guys just saying that the podcast is great. So shout out to you guys. But once again, if it's your first time listening in, the reason for starting this podcast, because everywhere I go, everyone's asking me, what is overseas basketball like? What's the food like? The language is like, basketball like, coaches like. So I was like, let me start a podcast to help educate everyone on what overseas is truly like. And if you are a younger basketball player listening in, I hope I've done a great job, or this is your first time listening in, I hope I'm going to explain a lot of what this overseas journey is like. I mean, you're going to get a lot of different stories from people, and I hope that I can show all different aspects of it, the good and the bad. And then you guys, when you guys go overseas, you guys can make your own stories. So shout out to everyone that's listening in. So for each episode, we feature a different topic. Let's go all the way back to the beginning, y'all. For the first episode, we featured basketball with Sydney Wee. Second episode, we featured overseas relationships with Cy and Jess Gorey. Episode 3 was motherhood with my lovely sister, Dewana Bonner. Episode 4 was faith with Nia Coffee featuring Sydney Weiss as a co-host. Episode 5 was overseas past versus present with Val Whiting. And episode 6, y'all, okay, episode 6. Now, you guys know I always say I'm excited for an episode, but this one I really am excited about because it features so many different things that I love and so many people that I love. So episode 6 is titled Food Overseas. Now, I know if you are someone who enjoys food, someone who enjoys the cuisine, the art of cooking, you are going to truly enjoy this episode. So the person that I'm bringing on for the guest knows a lot about basketball and knows a lot about cooking / food. The guest I am bringing in today is someone near and dear to the heart. I've known her for 10 years. Y'all, this year is our 10-year anniversary of being friends. She is just amazing. Her name is Stephanie Mavunga. Steph, welcome on to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm really excited because I was around for the first one, so I'm really ready to be around for the second one and see what's good.
That's right, y'all. So if you guys didn't know, I had a podcast called Bird's the Word like 4 years ago, and Steph was like one of my 3 guests. I only had like 3 episodes. It was really hard to maintain. And so like when I decided to start a new episode or a new podcast, I was like, it's got to be way more organized. It's just got to be a lot more cleaner. And so I hope I presented that if you guys were fans of Bird's the Word. Sorry, Steph, for the long intro, because I just wanted to continue to hype you up. But let me give the guests a little run, or the listeners a little rundown of who you are. You know, it's a lot, but I try to keep it compact. And hopefully I just, I get the real big hitters out there. Hopefully I'll make you proud. Okay, let's break it down. Okay. So Steph was drafted by the Indiana Fever in 2018. She played there for 2 seasons, and then she went on to play with the Chicago Sky. Shout out to them. They're in the finals right now. She was a 2-time All Big Ten team member, and she was a member of the All ACC team in 2015. Who does that? Who gets all first team in 2 different conferences? That's pretty darn dope. All right. She played for several USA national teams, including the 2015 Pan Am Games. Also, she played in, Steph, what was the team that we played in together? This is when I first met Steph, like 16, U16, something like that. Yeah. So 10 years ago, that's when we first met at the U16 USA national team. All right, y'all. So we do overseas facts because we are an overseas podcast. Steph has played in Russia, France, and currently is in Poland. Now, this part is about to get real wild. I don't know if even you know this. You probably do, but she was a Eurobasket All Euro Cup Player of the Year in 2019, as well as Forward of the Year and Import of the Year. Import is just, she was a foreigner. overseas. She was also a part of the all-French team in 2020. And wait, this one is wild. When I read this one, I was like, yo, my friend is really tough. She was a part of the all-Europe team in 2020. Europe, y'all. We're not just talking just one country. We talking a whole continent. Whole continent, G. It's wild. And now
I didn't even know that.
I'm saying, all Europe. I'm breaking down crazy facts about you. And she just won the Super Cup in in Poland, just recently with her team. How you pronounce your team? CCC, Pokweiss, something like that.
Pokavice. So
Pokavice.
W's in Poland are a V. Don't worry, girl, because I think I say it wrong too, but I know that the W is a V. I don't know. Sometimes I hear Pokavice, sometimes I hear Pokavisa. So like I just kind of like trying to say it real fast.
Pokavice. That's what's up. Okay, y'all. And so this for this episode about food, I had to bring a bonus fact because Steph is a special guest. And for many who do not know, Stephanie is a chef. And she has her own meal service business called Kupisa Kitchen. I know I said that one right. Kupisa. And she's been cooking for me for over 10 years now. She's the best chef that I know in the game. Y'all, I'm just so happy to have her here. Steph, talk a little bit about your cooking experience because this is why I brought you on. Just give us some knowledge about yourself.
Okay, so thank you for the great intro. You were really spitting out facts that I may not have known or I had forgotten about. But so you did your thing there because I'm like, I was the what? But when it comes to food, I really love food. I'm a big foodie. I love to cook. I love to eat. Like big girl gotta eat. Like and do. So like Bert said, I have Kupisa Kitchen. And so Kupisa Kitchen started it started when I was in France. So I made up the name when I was in France one day. And I just kind of came up with it like randomly. So I kind of wanted the alliteration. I wanted the K and the K. I think, let me think. It was just a random night. I was just like kind of laying in a bed and I was like, the K and the K is kind of catchy. And I kind of wanted something that was me. It wasn't, it was like kind of original and something that, maybe no one had ever really heard of. The only thing I was nervous about is the fact that, maybe people are going to pronounce it wrong when they first see it, or they're not going to understand. Like, and then if it turns into a restaurant, then people are going to be like, what is that? It doesn't kind of like, it's not super, super catchy to some, And the reason I chose Kupisa is because many people may not know, but I'm originally Zimbabwean. So I'm Zimbabwean by birth, born there and everything. So shout out to my fellow Zimbabweans out there. But so Kupisa in Shona, my native tongue, means hot, to be hot, the state of being hot. And so to me, I was like, yeah, like I want everybody to think like, yeah, the kitchen's on fire. Like this food is fire. This is that stuff. This that splat. So I was like, you know what, Kupisa, like, and I'm like, oh, I was messing around with a lot of things. I'm like, Kupisa Kitchen, and it just kind of clicked. And I'm like, oh, we have one. We have one. So I started cooking when I was in college, and oh my goodness, it's like night and day. From my freshman year to like how I make food now, whether it's plating, whether it's the taste, ingredients, terminology, like around like certain foods or different cuisines, like I'm night and day, a whole different chef. So like I just started doing it freshman year because I was real frugal, like, and I just kind of wanted to save money. And plus it was just something else I could do. And then a lot of people that know me know that I don't really watch TV. I've been trying to work on it, like try to like watch like popular things, I guess, but like not really a TV, movie, Netflix person. And so like cooking, it just kind of helps me get away. It's something that it relieves stress and it also takes up time. And I get to like tap into different cultures. If I want to make different cuisines from different countries.
We'll talk about that.
Huh? Say that again.
We'll talk about that. You just hold on to those stories because we'll talk about that soon, very soon.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, beautiful. Thank you for giving the intro because I want everyone to know. I know I can only give.
Skipping a little bit.
Oh, sorry. Hopefully you can hear me right now. All's well?
Okay. I
All
hear
right.
you now.
Good. All right. So yeah, thank you for the intro. I know I can do as grand of a job as you could do in explaining everything about your cuisine and experience. So thank you for that. But before we get into the interview, we're gonna do a little icebreaker, even though it's not an icebreaker because we know each other for 10 years and we know both of us like to talk. But the game is called What's in the Kitchen? And we're just gonna be doing some fun games, and I'm interested to see what your answers will be for these questions. So, first question is: if you could cook for any celebrity, who would it be, and what would you cook?
Woof. Now that's a question.
Break it down. Let me
Was
know.
it
Let me know.
really?
Let me know.
Who would I cook for? Maybe LeBron James.
Okay, LeBron
Um,
James. All right,
LeBron James.
what you
Like,
cooking for
I
LBJ?
don't know.
What you
That's
cooking
a
for
good
him?
question. Now I know what I'm gonna make, but it's
Okay,
okay. So I
okay,
know
what you gonna make?
see that's how I'm like also like I don't know if I'm gonna make it for LeBron because he spends those millions on his body and he's
He does.
real clean.
He does.
So I don't know if I want to make something for him because like I'm probably gonna have to come out with a little calorie count, like oil, like how many, point this of this much oil is in your food. But okay, I would make everybody loves my salmon,
Top
Cajun
tier.
salmon, that's up on the menu for sure. Um, Probably some sweet potatoes. I can make them healthy. They don't even have to be candied yams.
Nope.
Those are gonna hit every single
Mm-hmm.
time, like the ones I made for you and Hungry that first night.
Yes, sir.
And then probably roasted broccoli. So if I'm doing like a nice like food, nutritious but still like flavorful meal, I'm gonna do that. If it's like a cheat day, then I'm probably still gonna make the salmon because like I said, everyone really loves that. I'm gonna do some mac and cheese, and then the yams are gonna be candy, baby.
Say less. See, she already
Everyone's
got the menu
with
on
all that
deck.
to make themselves feel better than for
She
sure.
already
I
got
don't
the
know.
menu
I
on
think
deck.
we're gonna have to circle back
Yeah, think about that.
because
Think
I think
about
I have
that.
a couple celebrities.
I like that. I like that answer though. Okay, LBJ, you
Oh,
stay tuned because Steph's gonna be in the kitchen near you. All right, next question. If you were at a potluck and everyone had to bring their best dish, what dish are you bringing? Just one item. You just got to make one item. What are you bringing?
salmon. What's up? Who do you hear about that brings the salmon to the
You never
potluck?
hear that.
Everybody's like, cheese. But the thing is, every time it's potluck, they be like, Steph has the mac and cheese. Steph has the mac and cheese. So I'm gonna bring that if that's what's needed. But if they asking me what I'm gonna make, just let me know.
Yo, the salmon is top tier. The way I make salmon, it's very difficult because it's hard to make salmon because you got to cook it all the way through. It has to be perfect. It's got to be a beautiful pink flesh through and through. And the way she just makes it, it's impeccable. Truly, truly. So salmon it is. Say less. Okay. We getting blessed right now. All right, next question. If you could own your own restaurant, where would it be located and what style of food would be served?
What style of food? I don't think that I would. That's the only thing that I really struggle with right now. Because I don't want to just like leave it, I guess, to just one type of cuisine.
Right.
I like something that's kind of like there's various things on the menu. I'm not gonna do too much. Like we love Cheesecake Factory, but that's entirely too much on the menu. Like way too much going on. But they have all kinds of different stuff. So I kind of want to, take a little bit away from that in the sense of they have so many different things that way anybody comes into my restaurant, they're going to find something to cater to like their dietary needs. And so I kind of want to do something like that. But I don't, I think somewhere maybe in like Florida, Miami, somewhere that like a lot of people visit. I want it to be like end up being like one of those places that like many people come to, and they're coming from out of town, like, oh yeah, when we in such and such, I need to stop by Kupisa. Like, yeah, like people are coming through, like certain places are known for certain things, you know what I'm saying? So like I kind of want it to be like that, like There's certain things that like I go to different, like for example, you're at the West Coast, people are gonna go to In-N-Out, they're gonna go to
Yep.
Duck's Donuts or whatever. People are gonna go to the Turkey Leg Hut wherever they're what is it,
In
Texas,
Texas, I
Houston,
think.
wherever it is.
Yeah.
Like yeah. So people are gonna go to different, they're gonna go to Chicago, get Giordano's, like, or the popcorn. Like I want it to be like, oh, I'm when I get there, I have to make sure I cannot leave without getting this, you know?
Right.
You go to all these different places. And so I kind of maybe like a busier city, just because like that's good for business. So it doesn't even have to be like a tourist attraction place, but like somewhere where they're, you know, they're ready to, you know, shell out money for some good food.
I just love your answers. You're just so well informed. You just already know what you want to do and how you're going to attack it. So it's beautiful. All right, last question. I got this one from Alicia Clark. She asked it on Twitter. I think I'm going to give you another $5 and you'll understand when I say this question. So if you only had $25 and had to feed 6 people, what would you cook?
I had $25 and I had to do what?
You
Feed
got to
what?
feed 6
Sorry.
people. What are you
I'm
cooking?
like a baked pasta for sure, and a side salad.
You can do that in 20 with
Because
$25.
Mhm. It depends where you're shopping, and do you have your coupons in hand?
See, you put a little asterisk on it. Okay, I like that. A lot of people say pasta. I said I'm cooking spaghetti, but you put a baked pasta with salad. I just said they gonna get some
Yeah, but
noodles and
like
sauce.
if it's spaghetti, it has to be baked. That's why I said baked.
Mm.
Because I'm also picky about, you know, what type of sauce. But it also depends because like what type of, is this like lunchtime? Have they had a little snack? How full do they need to be? Like, so all these things come to, you know, come into play. Because you can get away with saying, oh, I can make a salmon salad and get a big old slab of salmon, but it's like, where are you buying it? Is it quality salmon? No, so you don't want to do that. But then it's also like you get the baked pasta, you can get a nice little sauce, or you can make stuff from scratch. If you dice up everything. But like this is just the food that's
Right.
$25, not my gadgets and things like that. Yeah.
No, yeah, just the food. Just the food.
Yeah, girl, baked pasta for sure.
Y'all, I am thoroughly entertained. Steph is the funniest person to me. I just think she's the funniest person in the world. So I'm just cracking up because if you guys are watching on YouTube, you can see myself and herself and her facial expressions when she talks. So I'm just cracking up right now. But okay, Steph, that was great. That was a great icebreaker. You just are well informed. You're clearly a chef because these are chef-like answers. So I appreciate that. So now let's get into the interview, and we're just going to talk about your overseas experience with food and what it's been like for you as a chef and just as a person who's a foodie, enjoys, you know, to eat great quality food. So would you say you've had a overall good experience with food overseas?
I have, but for me, 90% of the time I'm eating at the house. And then this season is the most I've eaten at the house just because like in the city I'm living in, it's kind of like a small village. So there aren't really many restaurants. And then the ones that are there, they kind of close a little early. So like sometimes, for example, like I could say a restaurant closes at 9, but it's like so small around here that like you can get there at like 8:27 and they're like, yeah, we've stopped serving. And I'm like, huh? And so then that only leaves you with McDonald's and KFC, which I don't even eat in the USA. So like I don't really, I mean, of course, you know, all overseas basketball players like, man, I don't eat KFC, I don't eat McDonald's, but overseas it slaps. So
Let's
like
talk about
every
that real
now and
quick.
then you tell me like it's nothing. Okay, yeah, let's go ahead.
Because I was going to ask that later on in the question. I was like, because a lot of people want to know what's McDonald's overseas like. Was because okay, let's talk about first the restaurants that we usually see overseas that we have in America. You see McDonald's, you see KFC, you see Burger King, you see Pizza Hut, and I seen Subway. Those are the top 5 American restaurants
Yep.
that I see.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something about like I don't eat that much fast food overseas, but there's
And
something about
TGIF.
oh, they do have Fridays. They have Fridays in Budapest. That's right. That is popular. And then I saw one in Portugal. So there's something about that KFC chicken. There's something about that KFC chicken that does something to me. It's like spicier, crispier. It just tastes way better overseas.
You want to know why? Secret, it's chicken.
She said it's real chicken, y'all.
That's what the people say. I'm just the messenger. I'm just the messenger.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
That's just what I heard. What I heard.
That makes a lot more sense. Okay, all right. Yeah, some fast food overseas is just better quality. They have less options than what we have in America. Like they have like the general Big Mac or like nuggets, but they don't have like the specialty stuff that we have. Although they do have their own country specialties, like Burgonias, that means potato in Hungary. Like they have like a certain Burgonia like special that they have, or they'll have like a
they be having potato wedges at our McDonald's.
Exactly, potato wedges. That's what I'm talking about. The Burgonias, yes. Like we don't have those in the States. It's different. So honestly, every McDonald's overseas depends on country to country. So that's a pretty cool thing about being overseas. You get to experience even fast food is different and of different quality than what you're used to in America. Okay, back to what we were saying. Right. Your experience. Okay, you say you're cooking a lot when you're overseas, and you were just going to speak about that a few minutes ago of how international flavors have influenced your cooking. So, in what ways has that changed the aspect and the way that you attack cooking?
So cooking overseas for me is I really love it more because it's more of a challenge. You don't really know what things say. You don't know how things necessarily taste. You're just kind of playing a guessing game. Of course, you have like your translator app when you're out at the grocery store and things of that nature, but the flavor still never hits the same. Like you could even have like something so simple as Frank's Red Hot. It's Frank's that says Frank's. One's from the States, one's from whatever country you're in. You take them out, you dump them, they still taste a little different. I don't care what anyone says. Like I truly believe, like no matter what the name says on the outside, it always hits a little different. You know what I'm saying? So like you play around with different flavors and you try to figure out exactly what it is that's going to make your food hit the best, And so that's always, a fun little challenge when I'm overseas. And you only bring but so many seasonings with you. You don't want to pack your bag with just seasonings, but I probably do bring more than the average player when I come out here. But after that, also like the reason why I've been like waning back, year to year, even before that care package hits, like just simply because like I want to really challenge myself, like see how I can, come up with different things myself. So sometimes it may not be a seasoning. Sometimes I want to make a sauce because, like maybe this seasoning isn't going to hit as good because maybe like the sodium content or whatever it is that may be inside of this seasoning isn't as strong as something I may have from the States. And so I'm like, okay, so maybe I want to make a sauce. And so then you get to blending stuff, you get to chopping, you get to dicing all kinds of different herbs and other little things, or peppers and onions and things that you can, bring together. Different types of coconut milks, oils, whatever it is that you can mix together in order to make a sauce that can somehow even help marinate. So then at that point, you try to make a new marinade, and then that can help you as well. So I really, really, really enjoy cooking overseas just because like I go in the store, I'm really not sure what a seasoning is going to taste like. It can have chickens on the outside. It can say chicken, but what does that taste like? Like, I don't know until I try that on my own chicken. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go in the store though, and in the States, and you use Creole, it's gonna be spicy. That Tony's Creole, it's gonna be spicy. You go to Poland and you go in there, you see a chicken on a grilled piece of chicken on the outside of seasoning. You come out, you dumping that on your chicken, and you like, did you put some seasoning on here? Like, you just never know. So it's always fun, and I really like. So what I do enjoy is taking a little bit and dabbling from whatever country it is that I am in, and then also using a couple things from the States. But also when I'm in the States as well, I love using international spices. I don't know if that's the African in me or what it is, but I really love taking things from different cultures and different countries and kind of just like mixing them all together and seeing how it is. And that's kind of like what people really love about my salmon probably, is because yes, I use some American spices, but then also I use Indian spices as well.
You heard it here first. That's the key to the salmon, man, is the international flavors. I love it. Wow. Like I just keep thinking like I'm getting a true chef's mind in these answers. Like you can ask me this and I'm just going to be like, yeah, just kind of grab and go at the grocery store, and see what's all there. So speaking of grocery shopping, let's talk about let's do Russia. Let's do Russia. And we're in the grocery store in Russia. What is your experience like? What are you grabbing? Say you're getting a meal for a pasta dish. We'll just do a simple pasta dish. How are you going to go in the grocery store and do that?
So I'm going to give you my Russia experience from my rookie year and then my Russia experience from my third year. And I'm going to tell you the difference because like I said, like you learn and you grow. And so my rookie year, for example, you know, you're fresh off the plane. You're like, okay, I don't know what it is. How do you know really maneuver? I'm walking to the grocery store. I know nothing yet. I don't know about the whole take your produce, put it in the bag, go and weigh it. I'm in the USA. Like, you know, I don't know about the whole, you can bag your own groceries. I know nothing about any of nothing, you know? So I'm going to the store. I get there and like, of course I know like I'm not going to understand, but like, so what I do before I go to the store? Well, I know the kind of things that I have on my grocery list. So let me go ahead and Google them and put them in a translator and see. So that way I know exactly what it is when I see it. But what you don't think about initially, if you didn't really have any background or have anyone helping you or giving you like, get the Google Translate app and download the actual languages. That way it doesn't matter whether you have internet access or not. So at this point, I don't know this. I know nothing like this. So I'm like, okay, I'm downloading. Okay, so chicken. Kupisa in Russia. Okay, so I'm like, okay, you know, I'm getting it down. Okay, cheese, sour cream, or well, for this dish, like ricotta, like, you know, whatever it is, I got to figure out. So I'm like, okay, you know, and then at this point, I don't eat red meat. Like I had given up red meat. And so this is actually how I started back up eating red meat was because of my grocery store experiences when I was overseas. So I'm like, man, I don't know, like, I'm just gonna try to find something simple because you know it's my first, you know, it's only my first day out here, like Lil Uzi said. So I don't know. So I'm like, all right, I'm trying to figure it all out. So I'm putting everything in the app. I get to the store. I'm like, okay, I'm at like the fresh marketplace. You know, they have the meat. You know, they take it, slab it. You know, I'm trying to get that fresh, like Whole Foods feeling. So they taking it, they measuring it. I'm like, this ain't none of this say chicken. And you know me, I don't eat pork, too fine for swine. So I'm like, I'm looking on the app. I'm like, this say chicken, but it say something else. Like I'm trying to get ground chicken. I'm like, okay, I put in turkey just in case. So I'm like, okay, but it's saying something else. So I see something, it looked like a pig. I'm like, no. Like, is that mixed in there? What's going on? Like, absolutely not. Abort mission. So I'm like, oh man, like I can't even get what I need. So I'm like, but I see one, it has just cow. And I'm like, okay. And I see, I'm looking all in ingredients. It's no pork. I'm like, I haven't eaten cow in 3 years. Okay. Well, you gotta do what you gotta do. Let's figure it out. I got medicine at the house. I'm gonna just figure it out. So I get that ground beef. So I get the ground beef, and that's the story about basically actually how I started eating red meat again.
Okay.
So, yeah, so stuff like that you never know. And then so you know, that's how I went around. Like the other things though, it's easy. And some of the things, pasta, I haven't been to a country yet where the brand Barilla isn't in the stores.
Facts.
And you find Barilla in the States too. On the pasta sauce and on the pasta, no matter what cut you have, you can have penne, you can have bow tie, farfalle, anything, macaroni noodles, you can have spaghetti, everything, you have that. So this was me. I'm trying to be fancy a little bit. I get the shells. So I get the shells, the ground beef, I get the sauce. I'm like, girl, they got Barilla. Like I'm really in here. Like I think I danced in the store. Like I was so excited. I'm like, oh, I ain't gotta, you feel me? I don't have to translate that. I know what's going on right here. So I'm like, okay, you know, I'm going through the whole store. I get my little onion, whatever. I'm dicing certain things. Thank God, like I understand, like as a chef, like that is another thing. For example, like I understand, like, okay, like certain herbs I can look at. I'm like, this is this. Like some people still struggle, maybe this isn't a knock at all, but like may struggle with seeing something they see like a parsley, a mint leaf, a basil, and a cilantro or something. Mm-hmm. Parsley and cilantro, and they'd be like, I don't know. Gotta take a little bite or something. Me, I can tell, I can look and see. So that's another thing that was good for me because then I didn't have to like translate stuff like that. But yeah, so that's kind of like how I went about like my grocery store run, different things and how I was looking at the cheeses and some of the stuff I had to like, you know, just buy it because I hadn't translated some things I may not have thought of or like, you know, you go up and down the aisles and you're like, I think this is such and such. Like you never really know. You kind of shaking things, trying to see like the consistency. For example, the same thing I did with like Greek yogurt my first day. I'm like, I don't really know if this is Greek. I'm trying to shake it. It seems thick, but girl, when I ended up getting home, girl, it came right out the thing. Like that ain't no Greek. So it's just kind of like it's a trial and error. And then eventually, of course, like I remember like actually I went back home and I was like talking on like about my experience, on social media. And the old heads, they'll come and they'll help you. Like, girl, why have you not downloaded the Google Translate app? And why haven't you downloaded the languages? I'm like, hold on now. Scan all this stuff. I'm like, oh, like that meme or that gif. It's like that was me. That was me. Like I was at the store the next day on the off day just for fun. Girl, I'm scanning and everything. I'm like, chicken fillet. Girl, I know what this is. Like, I'm so geeked. Like, it's the little things. Like overseas, when you just a little bit of insight, like that really just makes your overseas experience so much better. And that's why I always encourage people, like, just help each other out. You never know. It's somebody's first time, or it could be year 7 and they may not know something. Like, just always share your experiences or whatever it is that you may have been put on game about. But yeah, so that's kind of like how I went about going to get my groceries for my first pasta dish. And in Russia, also that first experience too, I ended up finding somebody in that grocery store that spoke English and like could help me like measure everything. So they started like helping me, like, you start typing on the screen, you're trying to find pictures, I go look, they have numbers, and you know how you have to type in about your produce and stuff like that. Whereas my third year in Russia, it was a little different. I still did the same things. Now I'm feeling, confident going into the stores. I know how to scan everything. I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm helping, but it's just like certain things you can't find, or certain things just aren't in season, but you're still used to seeing them in the States. So that's a little frustrating. Even with like vegetables, they're big overseas, with fresh vegetables. And so it's like if something isn't fresh, they're not really gonna put it out there. But then that's a little aggravating, because you're like, man, I ain't seen broccoli in 3 weeks, or you might not have seen sprouts in 2 months. Like it's like, okay, like I understand about the freshness, but where's the food? Like I'm tired of eating salad. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a matter of getting to know like different things. And so I bring into that process Brussels sprouts for the first time in 2 months today. I said, hold on now. I didn't know y'all had these.
Facts.
But yeah, like last year in Russia, it was kind of the same, because I like, of course, like I had kind of like gotten a little familiarity with the language for my rookie year, and then I could go to the store, and then I had like a teammate, like I was always with Enrique at the grocery store, because we had like the same driver or something. And it was just like nice to like go and see like different things at the store, and like be able to like, even assist her. Like, let's say like if she didn't understand something, or like I taught her about like the Google Translate app, how you could scan, and it was like for her too. And I'll never forget, I still have not aired her out about this, but man, she was in the herb aisle. She was like, "Is this the right?" And I was like, "That's not that. That's not that."
Oh, Enrique, it's all good. She figured it out.
For her birthday, she texted me. I was like at home, and she was texting me. I want to say, she said like, "Is this parsley or something?" And I forget what herb it was, but I was cracking up, y'all. Like, maybe this year on her birthday, I'm gonna post it, because that's literally the funniest screenshot I had.
All right, so let's break down a lot of what we just talked about. For one, the Google Translate app is absolutely clutch in anything, not just for food, but just wherever you go. Like if you got to go to a coffee shop, if you got to go to get a new light bulb, like it's clutch in everything that you do. So if you're someone playing overseas and you don't know about the Google Translate app, and you don't know that, please download the language where the country that the language is, the most prominent, because you can use it without Wi-Fi. Like it came in like really clutch for me. Like my first 2 years, I really didn't have Wi-Fi like that. And I didn't have a phone that had Wi-Fi unless I was in my apartment. So the Google Translate app like came in super clutch for me wherever I went. So yes, super bonus in that. And then grocery shopping overseas, just a completely different experience. Like there's a lot of stuff. The thing that threw me for a loop was the first time was when I learned I had to weigh my own fruits and vegetables. Because like when we go to the States, you pick them up and you take them to to the register. So I did that myself, and they're looking at me like, where the sticker at? Like we ain't weighing this for you.
The first time, I'm like, Yeah.
It's
Girl,
wild.
I'm
It's
sitting there,
wild.
I'm like, this girl, I brought everything.
What's that one? That
And
one
it's so
meme where it's
embarrassing too, because they're looking at you like,
it's a meme like is it Jamie Foxx or some who is it like where they both staring at each other? Yeah, it's a Jamie Foxx meme and they both staring
yeah,
at each other. That's what you look like when you go and you bring something or you forget to
like,
weigh your fruit and veggies and they just looking at you like I can't help you. You like,
what?
dang, my bad. You got to get out of line. You got to go
Right. And
reweigh
they
your
know you
stuff.
don't know the language too. So they like,
They just looking at you. So it's wild. It's wild. But I mean, overseas is beautiful, and sometimes they have bad experiences. So, have you ever had a bad experience with food overseas?
for sure. Okay. Actually, I don't know if it's me or like what, but like there's sometimes that I buy a zucchini in the store and sometimes it just tastes like when I cook it, like I'll cook it the same exact way, like, and I don't know what it is, but it's just like random occurrences. So I don't know if there's something wrong with it, but like the zucchini looks fresh, like I know how to pick my produce, so I get really confused. But it just kind of tastes like there's like cleaning products cooked
Mm.
into it, and I don't know what it is. Only zucchini though, no other vegetable or anything else that I've bought. But like something about that zucchini sometimes. So I get a little hesitant these days. Like, am I gonna get the cleaning product one or what today? Because I just don't know. And that's not a knock on Poland. I've done this. I've had this experience in another country before.
Seems like it's you. Seems like it's a personal problem.
It's only been three times, and I made zucchini at least 15. So,
Yeah.
and I season it the same way, whether I'm in the States and Russia and France, Poland. Come on now, that's a zucchini problem.
All
Respectfully.
right. For me, I know it's just me. I don't know how to freaking bake cookies. And with cooking, cooking savory foods, you can just kind of dabble in that, like, that tastes good. You throw it in there. You don't really got to measure anything. But for baking, you really got to measure some things because with if not, it's like a true science. If you don't, every time I cook cookies overseas, they look like mini cakes. Texture is all off. It's just really spongy. It's just bad. It's just bad.
Uh-huh.
So I know that's a personal problem with me. That's why I was
That's
asking.
my challenge, actually. Yeah, no, I've been wanting to make cookies overseas, but I'm like, the idea of just going to go translate every single thing, because like you could need a pinch of something, but you gotta go translate that pinch so you can buy a whole bag of it, and it's just like irking. But I definitely want to make some cookies up and some brownies. Those are the two things I do want to make overseas, from scratch.
Now, has there been any crazy foods that you had to try when you're overseas, like when you got to go eat with your teammates or you got to go to a restaurant? Has there been some wild stuff you've seen? Like, when a lot of people talk about China, they talk about like, they got like pig head and fresh duck and just squid out there. Like, have you experienced that overseas?
In Russia, but it was like cute little bougie restaurant or whatever last year. And we used to go there and they used to have like the actual fresh whatever it is that you needed. Like all the shellfish and everything swimming inside at the front. And it's like you basically like point, that's the one. That's the one. But like, I eat all that. So that had nothing to do with me. But yeah, like, or like you see people like a whole octopus like grilled and it's just like smacked on the table. Like I saw that one time, but other than that, nothing too crazy. It's just like I don't count it as crazy. It's just something that like maybe I may not eat, but those are the two things that kind of stuck out to me. And mind you, even like last year when I was in Russia and I like saw, like the fresh fish, it was still like a cute scenery. So you didn't necessarily think about it as ew. Like it was just like, oh, okay, that's fresh fish. They're gonna kill it just as they do it in the restaurant. You can just see it right here.
Right. Yeah. For me, it's really popular in Hungary. It's like a delicacy, actually. It's goose liver. And I'm not a big fan of liver at all. Actually, liver has kind of grown on me because they put a little liver in some of the soups. But the goose liver, I just couldn't rock with it. It's just really rich meat. And it's no bigger than 2-3 inches. And they just go crazy after it. They're like, do you want yours? And I'm like, yeah, you can take it. Because liver is
Have it, please.
Yeah. Liver
I've never
is,
really been a
no.
fan of liver myself.
Yeah, definitely not. Well, all right. So
Okay.
we broke down everything from the good and the bad. Is there anything overseas that they have that you can't find in the States that you really enjoy?
Mm,
Like, talk about overseas bread. Talk about
no.
that.
Oh, whew, that fresh bakery. Listen, like, yeah, that bread is different. I'm not gonna lie to you. It goes like this though. Like, if you go get it from like the fresh places though, like it's gonna be hard in 2 days. But them first 2 days, or even if you throw it in the microwave, like when it comes out, and it's just like you can literally break the bread like this, and you can just see the smoke
The
just
rainbow.
come up. Like it's really a beautiful thing. And then France is different. I'm
Ooh.
talking pain chocolat like that, them croissants. Like, y'all, I really sound like a fat girl, but listen, it's okay because it's really different out there. And I love my bread. I don't miss meals.
No, overseas bread is like, I've never experienced anything like it. Like when I go to, even to this day, when I go to the store, it's not the same. Like bread is just like, it's like old and cold, like overseas. I mean, in American, it's just not the same. But I used to, y'all, my first year, I don't know what God was testing me with, but he put me right next to a bakery. So every morning I was awakened by fresh bread aroma. Every day I had to wake up to it, had to walk past it. Like, and I'm over here trying to eat healthy. I can get a little chunky, if I don't really watch what I eat. So God was really testing me because that bakery right next to me, baby, something special. Truly something special. Overseas bread.
Oh, I know, like ice cream flavors too.
Mm.
Or like ice cream, or okay, for example, in France where I was, they had like an actual like Haagen-Dazs stand. Like you know how you go to the store in the States and you like, oh, okay, you might be able to buy a Haagen-Dazs and it's probably gonna be $8, but you buy the little Haagen. No, at in France, for example, like you like the way that they scoop ice cream, like you go to Dairy Queen or something, or we go to Killen's, for example. No, Haagen-Dazs has its own little like.
Wow.
Whew, and it was different. Or like little things, like just the way that they're outside, like the street people, like they have their little like street set up, open shop, stuff like that. I miss that when I'm over, like when I'm back in the States, because it's like they really put their tender love and care in whatever they make, whether it's a crepe, a churro, whatever, like stuff like that. Like yes, you get it in the States, but it's just different. Like it just hits different.
Yeah, especially in
I
France.
know one thing that a lot of people, yes, France is definitely it. But I know something that a lot of people talk about is I know I want to say it was like Izzy Harrison had tweeted. Was it like have you seen the Nutella biscuits
Oh
or
no.
whatever? Like everyone goes crazy over it, like the Nutella. Man, and everyone's always like, I always like love these when I'm gonna have to send it to you one day. I have to find it, but like
Oh,
everyone
please.
loves them, and I always see them overseas, but I never see them when I'm back at the house. But I never really ate them, so I really don't know. But I know everyone like that I like play with like loves them.
No, speaking of chocolate, one chocolate that you can't find out here compared to overseas is Milka chocolate,
Kendra?
and that's some elite chocolate. You know about Milka chocolate?
Girl, it's all through every single country I've been in, man, especially Russia. Russia, you would think that they sponsor Milka, girl. It's everywhere. And then today, matter of fact, I brought my teammate, I surprised her because that's my little homie. She be helping me out, making my appointments and stuff. So I actually bought her some Milka chocolate, girl, all kinds of little flavors. And then they overseas, you might every now and then see a Milka chocolate with regular chocolate, white chocolate, or something like this in the States. But here, I'm talking, there's flavors I never even thought to think of
Yes.
to make. Like, Milka,
Yes.
where did you get this from? Like, so yeah, definitely. And then
For
you
those,
find like random, like, for example, like Kit Kats. I had never seen a coconut Kit Kat until last year in Russia. Like, I had
Mhm.
never seen that in the States. Like, they have chocolates or like things that we may have, but like they have like versions of them I've never even seen. Or Haribo. We have Haribo at the crib, but it's way different, like overseas than it is back stateside. You know, like they have
Absolutely.
Haribo everything. I can barely see a gummy worm, but I see every single other shape.
You do have Haribo, like sharks. They got like marine Haribo or marine
Yeah,
animals.
they have like a marine package. It's like everything you can find in the water, gummy version, Haribo. Like,
And for those who do not know, milk and
what?
chocolate is like equivalent to like Hershey's chocolate, but like 10 times better quality, more flavors. It's just better. But that's if you were to compare it to something, it's like Hershey's chocolate in America. But in Europe, that's what like the main chocolate source is if you're a big chocolate fan. All right, Steph, last question here. Man, I've loved this conversation. First off, I love this conversation because I'm talking to a true chef and I'm getting a true chef's mindset. I keep saying that, but it's freaking amazing. But has there been one meal, you've gone to a restaurant, so you've gone to a lot of different restaurants overseas. Has there been one meal overseas that you would recommend for anyone to try?
In Krasnoyarsk, Russia, there is a restaurant and it's called Frankie Wu. It's at the top of the city. It's at the there's a hotel and it's at the very, very top. So if anybody ever plays in Euro Cup and plays NSA in Krasnoyarsk, like coldest city ever. But when you go up to that top, you see like a view. It's a nice, like little fancy restaurant. You see the view of the whole city, but anything on that menu is fair game. They have like the chicken deboned, like half open. They have like the roasted veggies. They have like grilled corn on the cob, like whatever. And then there's in that same city, if you want to go for sweets, they have he's act like he does it himself, homemade everything, but it's called Cheesecake Cross. And so it's like KRSK, I think. Like on Instagram, you just gotta find it, like Cheesecake Cross New York or whatever. And he's like that guy. And he made like all my birthday stuff. You know me and Cheesecake Girl. And the best cheesecake I ever had. Like, and I'm talking about he made it from scratch, and he had like cheesecake cupcakes, the full cheesecake, like the whole 9 yards. So those two, like Krasnoyarsk food, really, really went crazy. So if you guys are ever there, that is definitely a restaurant. But I have definitely had some good food all around the world. But yeah,
Okay.
there for sure.
Krasnoyarsk in Russia. A lot of people never think that you would find some of the best food in Russia because we just have this negative connotation towards the country. But hey, apparently you can find some good food. I haven't been there yet, so when I do go, I will look for Kras cheesecake. But all right, y'all, it's the end of the episode, and it's time for my favorite part of the episode. It's time for the story of the day. So Steph, here I'm going to ask you, what has been your craziest story overseas? What has it been? I'm ready for it, and I'm ready for the story. Steph is a brilliant storyteller, so this is going to be amazing. Hit me.
Embarrassing, girl, and the people are gonna be like, "Girl, why do you even respond?" Okay, so I can't think of anything else to tell, so I'm gonna tell this embarrassing story, and I don't need y'all to judge me. Okay, so here it is. Okay, so I was a rookie, if that helps. So my rookie year, back to Krasnoyarsk. I'm if anyone knows me, like they know I'm a very talkative person. I'm really open. I'm giggly. You know, I'm loud. I'm bubbly. Like that's just the type of person I am. It doesn't matter what walk of life we come from. It doesn't matter. Like I treat everybody the same. So I'm always nice to the fans. I gotta stay around, you know, communicate with fans. I'm actually one of those people that might DM people back, but I kind of learned my lesson here. So, so I was DMing fans back this season. I'm a rookie, so I'm like, oh, you know, this is so sweet. Like, show my appreciation back. I'm reposting. You know, they might blow you up. So it's like every now and then, you know, you reply to something. Or like if you're overseas, you may not see a lot of tall people all the time. Whatever, you know, we all run into different things. So I'm 6'3" for reference. So I was on a flight one day. I'm in the exit row seats. I'm minding my business. I'm actually in the middle. So there's a lady on my right, and we're in Russia. There's a fellow on my left. And, you know, he's about 6'7", you know, kind of, you know, he goes to the gym. And so I'm minding my business. Like I said, being me, I'm just on my phone. I'm chilling. I don't say anything to this man. I didn't even look this man in his eye for real. Like I saw him once. We made eye contact. That was that. I sat in my seat, you know, and the only time like we did make that eye contact is when I was like, you know, because he sat before me and I'm like, hey, you know, the middle seat's mine, you know, cool. And generally, when I was in Cross New York, a lot of people didn't really speak English. And so, I was just trying to like kind of point. It wasn't really a conversation. So I sit in the seat, 5 hour flight, you guys, Moscow to Cross New York. So yeah, I think it's 5. Yeah, 4 or something. It's a very long flight. So I'm in there, I'm minding my business, I'm asleep, I'm listening to music a little bit. We land. This happened maybe let's say on a Monday. I don't remember the exact day. So okay, we gotta go back to Moscow in like 4 or 5 days. So boom, I never really get on Facebook unless I'm super bored, and I get on Facebook maybe every like once a blue moon, or like let's say 5. Like you scroll through all your social media while you're laying down. You're like, okay, let me go to Facebook. That's so it was one of those nights. All right, let me go to Facebook. So this is like 3 days later. This is like a Wednesday. 2 days after, yeah, 2, 3 days after the flight or whatever. And I get on Facebook and I get the friend request. Like, I really don't, kind of sift on Facebook. Like, okay, if you want to follow me, maybe there's reasoning. But if something looks suspicious, that's when I really hit decline. But I don't really, I allow people to follow me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, accepting. I see this, I go across this man. I'm like, this face looks familiar, but I can't put my finger on it. I'm like, where did I see this man? I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, man, whatever. I know I see him somewhere, so let me just accept him. I accept him. This man messages me, y'all, later on that night. He was like, hey, thank you for following, or like accepting my friend request. I just want to let you know that you're really beautiful, slide in, try to speak game. So I'm looking like, well, where I'm really replying now because I want to know where I know you from, because this is bothering me. I'm one of those, like, this is gonna bother me and answer. So I'm like, thank you, whoop, like, and I messaged back, and he was like, yeah, he was like, I didn't know if you would recognize me from the plane, and it all clicked. I said, the plane? Oh, this is Buddy from the left side of me. Like, oh, he said, yeah, I noticed you on the flight, from Moscow to Cross, but he said, I don't speak very good English. So I didn't know what to say. And I was a little like, like nervous or whatever. And he was like, why didn't you speak on the plane? Like, you feel me? Like, be a little more bold, people in these days. They want to slide in the DMs. No, speak up. With your chest. So I'm like, all right, whatever. This is, I don't really know anybody out here, so I'm still messaging. So he's telling me that, whatever. Fast forward. Oh, this isn't very safe, so I don't, recommend this. I know I was young and a little silly. But a couple days later, like I said, we had to fly back to Moscow. So we at the hotel, and this man had asked me, because he actually lives in Moscow, and he had gone back. And he had said something like, oh, let me let me come visit you or something, or let me come see you. What hotel are y'all staying at? That was a very terrible idea. I don't know what made me say, but I said it.
Wow.
I don't, like I said, you guys do not need to do stuff like this. This is absolutely wrong. But yeah, it was just like, oh, okay, this is a kind guy, whatever. So yeah, we ended up linking up at the hotel. We're using a translator the whole time to have a conversation. So this is weird to me, but it is what it is, the things that you do overseas and the experiences that you have. So, all right, we message here and there. I'm not messaging this man every day. Like, I'm minding my business. I have a job. Like, I'm trying to work and play basketball. Like, that's what I do at this time. So this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. Anyway, fast forward to cut the story. I'm not gonna go into details, but we messaged a couple times. He came back to Cross New Yards. I wasn't trying to see him at this time because, like I said, like, I'm a little more smart. Like, at this point, like, I probably shouldn't have told you, where I was living with my team. But the good thing is we were only there for 2 hours. Like, we were just supposed to shower and leave. So like, that was also another reason I was like, it is what it is. And I told my teammates where I was going, and I stayed in the lobby, y'all. Yeah. So I was right. Everybody could see me. So anywho, y'all, fast forward. We had been messaging, boom, boom. He ended up coming to a game in Moscow and everything, like on his own though, like on some pop-up weird kind of stuff. But I didn't see the red flags here yet. So yeah, he popped up on me. Then he popped up at another game, at another away game on some crazy stuff again. This man brought flowers, chocolate. Like, how am I about to explain to my teammates? Because they're about to say, who the heck brought you that? And I was like, a fan. Like, this is a little weird now. I'm like, okay, I gotta get up out of here. I gotta dip. So fast forward, one day, I forget. I'm like one of them people that I ask a lot of questions.
Indeed, she does, y'all.
Bird, you know. So I don't really ask a lot of questions. I don't know how it came up, but he was saying something. He was like, okay, I gotta go to sleep. My wife, something. You're what, sir? Girl. Y'all, I said, when I say there's no pictures on this Facebook, no wife, this man ain't have no ring on when I saw him. There's no married. It says single on a page. Like, and he's been having conversations like, I'm trying to go to English classes. I want to be with you. Of course I'm not saying nothing to that because that's out of pocket. But like, I'm like, and he was like, I'm sorry, I didn't know how to tell you. And then I'm like, you don't do something, but like, this is the crazy part. Me trying to help. I said, listen, I'm trying to tell you, but like, you don't do stuff like this. This is very wrong. And I'm like trying to tell him, I said, the good thing about me is like, I didn't want anything with the man. I was just, bored, messaging back, whatever, But like, I broke it down to him like, yo, I'm not one of them people that I'm coming to you as a woman. I'm not that. And there's nothing here that's going on. So there's really nothing for me to say. But I'm like, you don't do stuff like that. Like, you're wrong in this situation. He was like, no. But like, he was like, I've never cheated on my wife. I said, boy, because if I would have given you a chance, that's what you would have done. And I wouldn't have known, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't do stuff like that. I don't condone cheating or anything of that nature. But I let Buddy know about himself for sure. And yeah, so that's my little crazy story. He and I was like, and I noticed things. I'm like, where was your ring? He said, I took it off right before the meeting because we only had a short time with each other. So I didn't want to type that into the translator. Yeah, good idea, because I would have walked away.
Well, y'all, this is two love stories that have gone wrong on Bird's Eye View. You heard mine first with my Hungarian boyfriend. I don't know, y'all. It's something with these foreign men. They just fall in love with these chocolate women. They just fall in love with us. And
they love it here.
And they want to marry us after the first meeting. It's crazy.
Girl, and that's the thing. He ended up saying that after I'm trying to tell him about something. I'm still going to take these English lessons. I still want to be. No, sir. Sir, calm down.
Y'all, I am shook. So now I know how y'all felt when I told y'all my story. So after I'm hearing Steph's story, I'm like, oh, this is what it sounds like. It's wild. It's
a thing, girl. Overseas, like you said, they love that. They love them, the little American thing.
That's what I'm saying. My same situation was the same as yours. I saw a tall dude I ain't never seen before in Hungary. So I'm like, hey, what's up? We not thinking about the repercussions, I can't talk today, the results of what's going to happen. Yeah. So we was in the same boat.
Yeah, that man started popping up, cards, gummy bears, stuffed bunnies and stuff. Stop coming to my games. I used to dip out after the game. I used to be in the cut.
So did he stop coming to games after you confronted him? Like, how did you break ties with Buddy Boy?
Of course. But I did the conversation. Like, at this point, like I said, I don't condone none of that. So I had to say my piece, like, yo, this is wrong. And I said, and also, like, I'm upset that you wouldn't have let me know. Like, I said, I don't condone that. I'm not with that. I'm not, like, I broke everything down in the clearest English because I knew he had to translate it, anyway. So I said everything real straightforward. And then, yeah, I just kind of stopped replying. He messaged a couple times. The good thing also is, like, he was in a whole nother city that was like at least like a 4-hour flight. And so he couldn't pop up to too much. And this was towards the end of the season so it was like, yeah, I went ghost girl. And then, of course, like, everything's in Russian. He's Russian. So, like, yeah, as I should and did. And so, yeah, he would, like, look up the stats and stuff, would, like, message me. But, like, girl, I don't know you, sir. You're about to get blocked.
Well, there you have it. That is a crazy story. Definitely the story of the day. Steph, man, it's been a pleasure having you on. We've received so much knowledge on food and overseas relationships again. So I appreciate you, Steph. Where can we find you on social media? Where can we follow Kupisa's Kitchen on social media? Break it down all for us.
So you can follow me personally on Instagram and Twitter with the same @ name, at @smavunga_23, and that's SMAVUNGA_23. And for Kupisa Kitchen, we only have an Instagram for now. We don't yet have a Twitter, but you can also find Kupisa Kitchen in my Instagram bio in case you forget. So the tag is right inside of my Instagram bio of my personal page. But if you just want to go straight to or directly to Kupisa Kitchen, then you just go @_Kupisa, which is KUPISA Kitchen, and that's it. So @_Kupisa Kitchen. Wait, because it might be double underscore. So let me check that because that would be embarrassing.
You double checking, y'all.
Yeah, double checking, y'all. And it is one. Okay, so I was correct. Okay, @_Kupisa Kitchen, and that is me.
Beautiful.
And vice versa. Each bio has, either my personal Instagram or my business, quote unquote, Instagram. And so you'll know for sure, and that'll be the confirmation.
Say less. We'll go follow her, y'all. If you want to follow me, if you follow me on Instagram at birds_24. You can follow me on Twitter at McCall24. And of course, you guys want to follow the podcast and get all updates on our guests and fun facts about our guests, you can follow us at birdseyeView.podcast. And of course, if you guys are loving the podcast and want to show it to love, give us some ratings, y'all. Rate us 5 stars. Drop some comments below so we can get some more people to listen in and get educated on overseas basketball. Once again, it's been a blessing. It's been another episode of Bird's Eye View with Erica McCall, aka Bird. McCall, I'm out. Deuces.